I'm Jeremy Osterberger. I'm here with BIC Magazine, and I'm joined by Bill Flores, Chairman of the Board for ERCOT. So, Bill, thank you for hanging out with us here at the Gulf Coast Industry Forum hosted by the Economic Alliance Houston-Port Region. You just got off stage, Bill, but how do you feel about the conference so far?
Well, from what I've seen so far, it's been great. I mean, you've got 800 people out there that are passionate about their industries. They're passionate about economic growth in this part of the state. And if you think about it, they're the economic engines that helps make the rest of the country work well.
You're right, Bill. And in order for us to have this economic prowess that we have, we got to have power.
That's
so we're
correct.
talking power. Tell us about your focus and really the focus of ERCOT and the priorities that ERCOT has at this time.
Well, the focus of ERCOT has been the same ever since Winter Storm Uri, and that is reliability, resilience, affordability, abundant energy, clean energy. So those are the areas that we focus day in and day out.
You know, Bill, how do you meet the demand of all the growth that we've seen in Texas? Everyone moving here, the businesses moving here. It's a wonderful thing, but the challenge is power and water. But on the power side, how do we maintain affordability through all this?
Well, it's a challenge, and as I was saying on the stage a few minutes ago, we're blessed in Texas. We've got a fast-growing state. We've got a lot of innovators. We've got great visionary business leaders. We've got great policymakers in Austin. We've got a great public utility commission. We're also challenged in Texas because we have all that growth coming in. So how do you balance that? And so the legislature in the last couple of sessions has put together some statutory frameworks that give the Public Utility Commission and ERCOT the ability to have better data to do more planning so that we right-size the grid to fit what the real demand is going to be in the future. Right now, the demand we're seeing, you can't tell if it's real or not. And particularly with all the data centers, we want them to come, but we need to make sure that that demand's real so that we build appropriate to fill their needs as well as the growth of the state, but not overbuild or be underbuilt too. So that way, that's how we maintain affordability.
You mentioned some of the legislative action. Tell us about the impact of Senate Bill 6 and how has that impacted Texas energy?
Well, Senate Bill 6 gives the Public Utility Commission and ERCOT the statutory framework to be able to go and analyze these loads as they're coming into the state, and then also set standards. For instance, a data center that has 1 gigawatt demand can go to 0 in a second. That would have huge implications in the grid. Or if it's off and it can ramp up to a gigawatt from 0 in 5 minutes, that has huge implications. So Senate Bill 6 gives us the ability, gives the state the ability to know how they operate and then also set guardrails for how they operate so that the grid works smoothly. We want everybody to be good grid citizens, as I was referring on the stage.
Well, thank you for that, Bill, and thank you for that update. You know, there's been some talk about Texas joining the national grid. My question to you is, why should Texas stay independent of the national grid?
Well, I asked the audience that question out there a minute. Well, I mean, the question was asked me. I asked the audience to answer, and everybody in the audience said they want to stay independent. Let me give you a great example. So after Winter Storm Uri, ERCOT and PUC sat down and identified about 80, just under 90 areas of challenge that caused problems during Uri. By November of that year, 85 of those, give or take, had been implemented. I mean, in other words, measures have been put in place to mitigate that, to keep it from happening in the future. Think weatherization of power plants, transmission systems, things like that. That was about the same time that the FERC and NERC reports came out to talk about what went wrong in Texas. Well, we had already looked at it. Texas, our typical Texas nature, we go out and get things done.
Right.
And so, do you want to wait for something to come out of Washington to do something, or do you want to take care of it here at home?
Stay agile, and respond as we can.
Right, exactly.
And affordability too, right?
Exactly. Now, some people claim that that our affordability would be improved. We became part of the national grid. Without getting too technical, each interconnect with the rest of the grid becomes a critical point that has to be measured as if what impact is that if that were to fail for some reason. And so that has huge implications for how you design the grid on this side of the border as well.
Gotcha.
So it may not necessarily have lower cost. The other thing to think about, if you remember what happened in Uri, that was a 20-plus state meteorological event. And there was no other power to come from any other grid to help Texas at that point in time.
Gotcha.
So it would have been interconnected. It would have been, there wouldn't have been enough electrons to go around.
I understand.
Still.
I want to get into the ratio of renewables to maybe traditionals. We need it all, right?
Right.
Talk about where we are with that, I guess. Does that
Well,
make sense?
if you look at the grid today, it's I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. It's just about 50% renewables and about 50% dispatch. Well, I have to look at the numbers. It's on the ERCOT app.
Sure.
There's a field page that tells you exactly
Okay.
what we've got. So, but that's what folks ought to look at. And it also, the ERCOT app tells you what percentage of that's being used.
Being drawn, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's a really cool site. Anyway, what I would say is that it's about 50-50, but if you look at the queue of applications to connect resources to the grid, it's about 80% renewable, 80-90% renewable. The challenge with that is that renewable resources have different operating characteristics. Clouds come over, a big solar farm,
Sure.
it drops.
The wind doesn't blow.
Wind doesn't
Sure,
blow it. Sometimes, of course, the sun goes down every night too. The batteries in Texas have helped a lot.
Yep.
They're not really renewable, but they take a renewable resource and make it look like a dispatchable resource.
Gotcha, by having that battery storage.
Right,
Yeah,
like
I got it.
it makes it look more like a nuclear plant or a natural gas plant. The challenge with batteries is they're real short-lived. They really are good at filling the gap, particularly at hot summer nights as the sun goes down. But they are really, but they're really short-lived.
Gotcha. So you got to like replace them. Is that how that works?
Well, no. When I say short-lived, it means you get about 2 hours.
Oh, I
worth
follow.
of power.
That's
You
all
get
you
about
get
2
out
hours
of it.
worth of
I
power.
got you.
Sorry, I didn't clarify that very well.
Got you.
But you only get about 2 hours out of it. I'm glad we have that.
We'll
2
take
hours.
the 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
we'll take
I
it.
got
So I'm glad that where people are spending billions of dollars to put battery storage in Texas, and I'm thankful that they are. The challenge is, what do you do if you get into another Uri event and you've got no sun, no wind, and your batteries are given out after 2 to 4
Is that natural
hours?
gas redundancy? Is that,
And
is that
then you so where are you going to get the electrons you need? And that's going to be, you need it from nuclear gas and what's left over a coal fleet.
And well, let's go to nuclear.
Look, so we still need all the above, but we just
Right.
need to make sure we've thought through the implications of all of the above.
Where are we at with Texas and nuclear power? Can you give us an update?
Well, the governor had a great initiative to try to make Texas a leader in nuclear power, and he framed the question in such a way where, look at those areas where we could make a difference. We can't really affect licensing because that's federal. Can't affect the waste or the fuel because those are federal issues as well. But everything else, manpower, locations, permitting, all the other, education facilities to build the workforce. So that initiative is really good to try to get us framed. We're still having challenges with the federal government in terms of dealing with the fuel and licensing and waste issues.
Well, Bill, we know that your time is limited. I just want to say thank you for being here at the Gulf Coast Industry Forum, and we appreciate you jumping on here with BIC Magazine. You're welcome back anytime. And,
You bet.
And thank you so much for sharing a little bit about the upgrade on Texas Power and where we stand. So
Right.
thank you so much.
Well, thanks for spending time with me.
Yes, sir.